Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar covering the topic of optimizing academic program pages for SEO and student experience. We're also going to be discussing why longer, more robust academic program pages are better for search and student needs. But before we dive into this topic today, we'd love to introduce ourselves to you. So first off, hello, my name is Hannah Gaddis, and I'm a senior content and SEO specialist here at Carnegie. Some fun facts about me. I live in Pensacola, Florida, and you can usually find me at the beach here or at Walt Disney World in Orlando. Finally, I love to read, bake, and spend time with my family. Now I'll pass it over to my co-presenter today, Emerald.
Thanks, Hannah. Hi, I'm Emerald Obi. I'm a web strategy specialist here. And some fun facts about me. One, I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. And outside of work, you can find me probably throwing some weights around at the gym all the time or just relaxing and watching anime.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about our agenda today. So, over the next few minutes, we're going to be covering several topics across creating long and high performing academic program pages for your college and university website. First, we're going to start by discussing why content on program pages even matters and set the foundation for the purpose of this entire conversation. From there, we'll dive into 4 SEO considerations and some compelling UX data. And I'm most excited for the part where we're going to share some real student quotes and feedback about academic program pages. Then we'll discuss how UX and SEO come together to create a powerful program page strategy. Finally, we'll close out with some key takeaways and additional resources for you to check out after the webinar. So, first off, why do academic program pages and their content on a higher ed website really matter? When a prospective student is looking for a college or a potential academic program to choose from, they aren't just casually browsing their options in this moment. They're actually making one of the most important decisions of their life. They're choosing the academic program that's going to shape their future career and all of the opportunities that come after earning their bachelor's degree. In this moment, students expect and need detailed, reliable information to help them compare their options across schools, understand career information like salary outcomes, and feel completely confident before they even consider applying to your school. In fact, for many students, their college choice entirely depends on finding that right academic program. So, when a student lands on a program page on a website that's vague or incomplete, they're more likely to just move on and click away and go to the next option at a different college or university. When we have longer, thoughtfully structured pages that consistently deliver better results, we're going to see improvement across SEO, user experience, and engagement on the site. When we have longer, thoughtfully structured pages, they align better with how your students actually are searching for them. They guide them through the decision-making process more clearly. And finally, they signal authority and relevance to search engines like Google. So when it comes to search and search engines, we're going to first today think about how high-performing academic program pages drive organic search visibility through SEO. And SEO is a major factor in academic program pages because longer pages can actually cover greater depth. They can integrate a wider range of our target keywords for SEO, and they can also help us build a stronger internal link structure for our site's architecture. These are all major best practices in the SEO world that we want to make sure we're following, especially on academic program pages. So for higher ed institutions, when we follow these best practices, this means a better chance of connecting with prospective students organically. So today, let's consider 4 critical SEO factors that can elevate your pages from just basic search listings on Google to action-driving content. So the first consideration here is that short pages fail to rank. When we have thin, generic program pages that don't have enough words on them or simply just don't have enough depth or context, search engines can't accurately assess their value. So if a page is missing essential details like curriculum information, career outcomes, student opportunities, or even admissions requirements, search engines won't be able to match that page with a student's high intent search, especially if the student is searching specifically for career information or curriculum outcomes. Thin content in this moment not only frustrates that prospective student who's looking for specific information and can't find it, but it also signals to search engines that the page may not fully satisfy that user's needs. And a page that's again missing those important details is unlikely to perform well for broad searches like MBA program, or even more specific searches students are starting to make more and more, like best online BSN programs for working nurses. So to rank effectively in organic search, program pages need to demonstrate expertise, relevance, and a full understanding of all the information students hope to find. Secondly, longer pages build search authority. When you create an in-depth program page for your college or university and has a solid structure, this is an opportunity where you can more naturally include target keywords that align with how a student is actually searching. So this allows you to integrate two types of keywords that we talk a lot about in the SEO world. First is those short tail keywords or shorter queries like accounting major, or more long tail question based queries like what can I do with an accounting degree? Longer pages also create more opportunities for strategic internal linking. In this opportunity, you can link to related resources such as a blog on your website, or even career data or a separate internships page that may exist about a specific program. This improves your site's overall information architecture, and it also keeps prospective students engaged longer because they're finding more relevant resources on your site, going to more pages on your site, and it positions your site as a trusted resource. Additionally, today, AI models and large language models, or LLMs, are becoming a huge factor in SEO. So it's important for us to know that AI-powered search features like Google's AI overviews and the new AI mode pull from very detailed and very structured pages in their citations. And we know that the students of today are increasingly using tools like ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity to ask complex and very conversational questions about specific colleges or specific academic programs. And again, these models are going to pull from information and website pages that have clear and robust content and that actually answer these conversational questions in order to generate their answers. So if your program pages don't provide the depth that these models are looking for, they're less likely to be cited. And if AI cannot find you, then prospective students of today most likely won't either. Finally, we have to consider Google and how it rewards comprehensive content. So Google is the world's largest search engine, and it really values content that plays a larger role in how we should shape it. So Google's EEAT framework, which stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, is our guide for creating student-centered, robust content across our website and especially on academic program pages. So we have some guidance here, some guidelines that we'll share about how well-developed academic program pages can align with this framework. First, for experience, academic program pages can provide real-world perspectives about what students can expect from your school and from the program they're interested in. These can be through student testimonials, maybe even providing career outcome information from a real alumni of your school, or internship opportunities students can participate in. For expertise, we want to ensure program pages have clear, accurate information about the curriculum, degree requirements, course offerings, and academic expectations. For authoritativeness, we want to showcase our faculty's credentials and maybe even some research opportunities that they're participating in, and also all of the accreditation details for that program. And then finally, following this guideline and framework for trustworthiness, we want to present content that's up to date and always easy to navigate. And as we think about navigation and that user experience, I'm going to pass it over to Emerald now to talk about some UX data.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. So, like you just said, this brings us to the topic of what the data is telling us. And we're going to explore some web analytics about program pages and how they perform compared to the rest of the college's website. So let's start by tackling a common misconception that we often hear, that students just skim everything and they want every page to be as brief as possible. While that might be true for some parts of a university's website, our data shows a very different story when it comes to your academic program pages. Across the average college site, users typically scroll about 50 to 55% of the page, and this data comes from a random selection of a few institutions that we worked with. We saw that they get past the hero, they look at the first half of the content, and then decide where to go next. But on program pages, that number does jump to 60 to 65%, and that increase is very telling. It shows us that when students land on these pages, or any audiences for that matter, they are far more invested in the content that they're seeing. This is because the page is serving the deep informational needs of both prospective students who are trying to make a life-changing decision, and even current students who we found often return to these pages to reference details like the curriculum requirements or faculty information. Now let's take it a step further and discuss user engagement. Using Google Analytics 4, we see that optimized program pages can have an engagement rate as high as 73%. And to put that into perspective, the average for the entire university website that we looked in our random selection is usually around 45 to 55%. That jump tells us that people on these pages are actively interested, meaning they are clicking, they're scrolling, and they're taking their time and reviewing the content. And we have seen in our research that this is because they're in a critical information gathering stage within their decision-making process. So where do these highly engaged visitors come from? This is where it really gets really interesting. For most universities, organic search is the single highest, biggest driver for engaged traffic. Our research from the Higher Ed SEO Benchmark report shows that organic search brings an average of 53% of all engaged sessions. Not only that, but this audience is already highly motivated with an average engagement rate of 61%. So this is the powerful story that these numbers tell. Your largest and most engaged audiences from organic search are arriving to these program pages and becoming even more engaged than they are on the rest of the college site. And this is really a great example of how SEO and UX work together, and we'll continue to talk about that as we go forward. All right, so now let's look at, we just looked at how the numbers are telling the story, but it's always great to hear straight from the user about their experiences when it comes to web content, specifically program pages. And the quotes we're going to be exploring today are coming directly from students that we've interviewed during our usability testing work. So first, a student said, the program page is definitely long, but we can't say it's not informative. I love how informative it is. And this is a really powerful take because, of course, when it comes to other pages on a university site, they may prefer to not see as much information. They prefer to get what they need and then go right to the next thing. But like this student said, it can be a long page, but they accept that it's very informative, and they appreciate the hard work that's put into it and the information that is available. So the takeaway here is that a longer program page isn't a problem when it's well organized and also packed with relevant details. And I wish we underlined well organized here, because you could just throw everything and anything on a page and then walk away from it. But we don't recommend that, because there is a lot of information. And when there's a lot of information at their fingertips, organization is key. So using different page elements like accordions, for example, is a great way to hold that information and give the power back to the user to let them uncover what they're actually interested in. Next, we have a student that said, I was talking about this earlier where I wasn't able to find the details about specific classes that I need. The program page has exactly what I was looking for. It's pretty descriptive and all the staples of the program are included. This kind of feeds off of what we just talked about, where you want to make sure all the information on these pages is relevant, including information like course topics, classroom opportunities, program takeaways, and student outcomes is a great way to help a student see themselves in the classroom and within the program. When we talk about storytelling, you might immediately think about pictures or video or even student quotes, but even these elements here are a powerful way to tell the story to a prospective student or prospective user and helps them see themselves within the classroom. Next, we have this quote. I like to know all the information a college can provide and more about the program. It just needs to be really well organized. Maybe add subtopics and ways to open and close details on the same page. And this is really good because just like we talked about, adding different types of elements like accordions can help with this because it helps with making sure they don't have to digest everything to get to the information that they are talking about. And another way to do this, aside from accordions, is maybe even anchor links. This is something that we've done in a few projects, and it's a really great way to we have a long page on a lot of information, like this student said, having a way for them to jump to different subtopics is very key. So for example, if someone comes to the page and they're just interested in program-specific scholarship opportunities, they can just click that subtopic and immediately be dropped down to that information. Because again, it's all about providing all the details, but then giving the visitors the freedom and opportunity to choose what they explore. And now we have one more. This quote says, honestly, the program pages are pretty in-depth, and I wasn't expecting that. When I first joined the university, it was pretty hard to find everything I needed for my degree, and having it all in one place makes it easy to find and understand. And I think this is a really great quote to end this section on because it really speaks on how exciting and nice it is to cater to your end users' needs. One thing that we have noticed when talking to current students or institutions is that when they were applying to the degree, it was difficult to find every little piece of information that was relevant to them and their interests, unless they wanted to just hop on a call or send an email to get all their questions answered. And we've heard from them that, especially if they're just exploring, they would rather find everything in one spot on their own. We have also heard during our qualitative interviews with staff and some faculty that may say, yeah, we hear a lot of questions from incoming or current students, and I think all this information is on the site. And that could be, but if it's spread out amongst a lot of pages, it does lessen the chance that they are able to find everything. So the takeaway here for this one is that a strong program page isn't just content, it is a complete student-centered experience. And I couldn't have said that better myself. That's awesome. So now let's move into SEO and UX. And as we previously mentioned, SEO and user experience work together. They work hand in hand. They feed off each other, they influence each other. And you've seen already multiple instances of evidence today where where you have the SEO right, when you have the SEO right and you have the user experience correct, you're providing or you will provide a great online journey for your audiences. So as we've seen, SEO is essential for getting your program pages in front of the right students or the right people, but getting them to the page is only step one. Just because they find you in search doesn't guarantee that they will choose you, and that is where user experience becomes critical. This is where SEO and UX come together to create a great, effective digital strategy. A great program page uses SEO to structure content around the topics and keywords that a student is actually actively searching for. Then it uses strong UX design to present that information in a way that is clear, comprehensive, and not overwhelming at all. When you get this right, students don't just land on the page. As we saw, they engage with that, they scroll, they explore, they click around, which leads them to take the next critical step, which is to apply or request information. Ultimately, it's not just about rankings or readability. It's about the harmony of both of these areas. And this is what really builds trust, supports action, and drives the results that you need. So the bottom line is when it comes to your academic program pages, less is not more. Based on the data and the student feedback and the principles of SEO, providing comprehensive, well-organized information isn't just a suggestion, it's quickly becoming a requirement for success. And now Hannah is going to wrap us up with some key takeaways.
Yeah, thank you so much, Emerald, for sharing all of that. So, as we consider all that we've discussed today, we're going to take a quick look at our key takeaways. So, you can think about how you can apply these to your institution's website and academic program page content. So, first, like Emerald just mentioned, students want more detail, not less. When making a major life decision, like choosing where they want to go to college or what program they want to earn a degree in, they value comprehensive information, and the UX data shows they're more invested in academic program pages than any other page on the website. Also, long form content is critical for SEO. Longer pages naturally include more target keywords, which also helps build search authority and aligns with Google's EEAT framework. This is also essential for appearing in AI powered search results, which is becoming extremely important today. Additionally, organization on a program page is just as important as hitting a word count or how long it is. Students want that detailed information, but it has to be well organized and easy for them to navigate. A strong page uses design to make content digestible. And then finally, SEO and UX must come together. As a reminder, SEO gets a student to your page, and UX is what convinces them to stay, explore, and ultimately apply. We've also compiled some resources for you all to access after this webinar to further explore optimizing your academic program pages, meeting SEO benchmarks, learning more about Google's AI mode, and much more. Additionally, here at Carnegie, we'd love to partner with you and your team as you continue to think about approaching your website's content to enhance SEO, user experience, and AI appearances. So that wraps us up. Thank you all so much for attending our webinar. We hope that this presentation has given you a clear understanding of why longer, well-structured academic program pages are an essential competitive advantage for your college or university website. Emerald and I have also included our contact information on this slide. So if you have any questions or want to chat further about this topic, please feel free to reach out. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.